This, for me, is one of the best martial art movies ever made. Yes, I said it. Absolute brilliant film. Great showcasing of Tony Jaa's amazing martial arts skills, and it absolutely blew the first one out of the window. The first, and that was a task. That was a task because when Ong Bak 1 came on the scene, it was just, is this real? Is he doing all these things himself? Ong Bak 2, he just took it to another level. And it was just great. I love the surround as a setting. I love the fact that it takes place in ancient culture, you know, and it's this young boy who's brought in by this warrior clan. You know, even when he's captured by these slave owners and they want to use him, this young boy, as entertainment by tossing him into a crocodile pit. So they come in and they save all these people, these warriors, these bandits. They save all these people, but the leader, he throws him a knife and he goes, death or life, it's up to you. So he's not fully rescuing him. He wants to see his warrior spirit, if he's willing to fight for his freedom, if he's willing to fight for his life, you know, and he lets him fight the crocodile and he obviously ends up killing him. And I like the fact that they take him in and then he gives him an option. He says, you can stay here if you want and learn martial arts, or you're free to go. So the choice is yours. So obviously the young boy, he's in the village that they bring him in, and you see all these warriors training in all these different styles, you know, the tiger fist and, you know, some silat and Muay Thai, or Muay Boran, should I say, and different forms of fighting, wrestling, you know, judo. There's some Japanese swordsmen as well. It was just great because Tony Jaa talks about how he's inspired a lot by Hong Kong cinema, particularly Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and the whole philosophy of being able to do many different styles really came in this movie. And you saw it with the training for a start. He was able to, there's a great scene where it's like a rite of passage scene where he has to fight off with 3 different warriors. And he fights off with a kung fu guy who kind of does like tiger fists, you know, they've got the praying mantis, different animal forms, and he fights off with that guy and beats him. And then he beats a Japanese samurai warrior, or at least a Japanese swordsman, should I say, in a duel with the katana, and he absolutely beats him at that. And I love the fact that the way he beats him, he catches the sweat that drops from his chin when he gets the sword by his neck. So it shows him, oh, okay, I'm that good that I can stop that close to your neck without killing you, you know, and catch his sweat. So he's showing his immense swordsmanship skills in that fight. And then the next fight, he's fighting the big guy who's just a brute force wrestler, and then he beats him at that. You know, he tries to do a few extravagant moves, it doesn't work, but he ends up taking him to the ground and getting him into an armbar. So he shows his jiu-jitsu skills, his ability to use the ground and leverage against a bigger, stronger opponent. So no matter who he came across, he was able to defeat, you know, in the training. So he's like, well, you're ready to lead this clan, you know, this clan of bandits. And I love, there's a great scene where he goes back to the village, and then and then that same guy who threw him into the crocodile pits there, and he's there abusing these women and children and all this kind of stuff. And then you see Tien, who Tony Jaa's character Tien, he's there, and he ends up like being a guy that they think is a slave. But then he grabs the guy by the throat, takes him out, and he takes out all the people around him, and he starts to do like the drunken style, because he's drinking alcohol and he's just drunk, and they're trying to beat him and they can't figure out how to because he's just so limber. So he's fighting in the drunken style made famous by Jackie Chan, and he's able to avoid their weapons and just absolutely destroy them. And then he offers the guy the same chance that he offered him as a child, and he's like, throw him into the crocodile pit, you know. And he's like, no, begging for his life. He's like, oh, okay, so now it's your turn. You know, now you know how it feels. And I thought that was a great little piece of karma, you know. Tony Jaa, he's the star of this movie by miles, and he just took it to another level. Just that final fight in the village where he's fighting all those bandits, and he's taking them all on with different weapons. He takes them on with the Tiger Style. He takes them on with Muay Brand. He takes them on with all sorts of weapons: swords, spears, shields, 3-section staff, rope dart. It was just like, I was so impressed. He's so impressed. Then he goes into another level. He's fighting them on an elephant. That weird crow guy comes. That's the villain of Ong Bak 3. Comes, defeats him. Then he's tired. He's injured. He's still fighting more guys, and more guys come again. It was just like, what is this movie? It's so good. As a martial art movie, you must see this. You must watch this. It is so good. It's my favorite Tony Jaa movie by miles. It really is. I just think in terms of his performance on screen, he hasn't topped this Ong Bak 2 performance, in my opinion, since. It was so good. He really showed his skills as a martial artist, his abilities, and his ability to tell story within this kind of setting. And I just thought it was really epic. And it was a shame actually that it's not really a shame, because it was his life mission and something he really wanted to do. But just after Ong Bak 3 was released, he became a monk, and it kind of lost a bit of momentum in his career in terms of his status as an action star, because I think he was really about to blow up. I know he's come back to film now, and you see him in like the Fast and Furious franchise and a few other movies in Hong Kong and other places as well. But at that point, he was becoming the biggest action star in the world. And I think this movie really, I think, was the peak of his career. Because when I saw that, I was like, this guy is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And he still is today, of course. But this movie is fantastic. Well worth watching again if you haven't seen it in a while. If you haven't seen it, you've got to check it out. Definitely 100% check this movie out. Well worth it. Well worth being on a list of top martial art movies you must watch and top Tony Jaa movies to watch. For me, it's the best. It's the best by miles. Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know if you've seen Ong Bak 2. What did you think of the fight scenes in it? What did you think of the story? What did you think of the fact that they took Ong Bak 2 to a more traditional setting than the first one? And the fact that it was in ancient times as opposed to modern times, because I absolutely love that change, because it really showed some raw martial arts and a chance for Tony Jaa to show his weapon skills, which I thought was fantastic. But I want to know what you thought, so comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the movie and what you thought of the aspects of the movie. What did you enjoy the most, and where do you think it ranks in Tony Jaa's best movies, and also the best martial art movies that have ever been made? Where do you think it ranks as well? Anyway, I'll see you next time for another video. Remember, behind every fight is a great story. Peace.